Alright, so here I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to get the drone to follow me. And this is about the third or fourth time I've done the trace, and so I'm not very good. And so I finally stopped and realized, oopsies, the drone's not following me. So now I gotta get it caught back up to me. And it's also really hard to see what's going on with the phone at the same time just because it's so bright outside. So I'm able to get the drone to follow me. And I'm just going slow just to make sure that it's following me correctly because I've already lost it once. And my other big problem is that I forget to record when I'm flying. So I lost the footage in the beginning because I forgot to hit the record button. I lost some other footage because I forgot to hit the record button. And so I was just playing around a little bit. The Go-Kart's got pretty good get up. But like I said, once it hits 20 miles an hour, it falls off its face. And one of the other interesting things that I noticed is that if I floor it, it'll do about 23. And then if I back off a little bit, it'll actually accelerate as I go about to half throttle. And it must be something to do with the settings on the Kelly. But like right now, I'm just so happy that it's able to follow me because this is the first time I've ever been able to do this. I've seen a whole bunch of other people do it, and it looks so easy when they do it. And the few times I've tried, it never worked. So yeah, just having fun. You just floor it and spin it back in, just slides around. Yeah, just checking to make sure the drone's still following me. Because those things are hard to see up in the air when they're got a white, a little bit of clouds in the sky, and a white bottom drone or gray bottom drone. And I got to go real slow over these things. I'm afraid of destroying my go-kart because this go-kart is not made for adults. It's made for small children, and I barely squeeze in it. And at this point, I realized that a couple of parts have fallen off the go-kart. Some screws came loose, and one of the rods was dangling, and it was only held on by a zip tie tied to some wires. So at that point, I realized, oh well, let me get this fixed. But it's hanging on. And then every time I get here, I got to remember to slam on the brakes, or else I'm going to fly off that little decline. Yeah, it works. Drone's following me. Go-kart's working. I'm excited. But I've got beads all over my body. What I should have done here is I should have done the orbit function, but I was just doing this manually. So this is just flying orbit around myself. So here, I missed the recording from the start of this all the way over to here, and then I finally remember as I was coming down the hill that I had forgotten to record, so I finally hit the record button and started recording. So I missed the whole way over. the other thing I need to do is I probably need to increase the speed of the drone so that it can keep up with me. Right now I'm just going, half speed, so about 10, 15 miles an hour, and the drone can do that no problem. And it lost me. At some point I realize it. There we go. I don't think the controller makes any noise, but it could. It's just everything's clanking around on the Go-Kart where it's really hard to hear anything. As quiet as electric is, it's still really noisy. The chain's pretty noisy. Everything bouncing around is pretty noisy. The suspension's pretty noisy. So it's still pretty noisy where I'm at. It's probably not very noisy for everybody else. So yeah, I got the drone following me again. But I am very happy with how the drone follows. It actually is pretty decent. I can lose it if I try to go too fast or make too much of a change or something like that. And I wish the white balance would change with the brightness. The greens look pretty green. It's the whites are pretty washed out though. At one point I was thinking about putting the controller down and then driving around, but then if the drone lost me, I'd have to go back, pick up the controller real quick and go get the drone. So what I did here is I just lowered it down a little bit because I came down from a hill. And all this grass is about 2 feet tall or so, and it's just all going all over me. The seeds are coming off of it and just piling into me. And that's just the stuff clinking around, stuff's hanging off by wires and everything. One of the other issues I had is that my throttle kept on going out, and I would have to turn the Kelly off and back on to get the motor to spin again. And I think it has something to do with that wire, that rod that was hanging off the throttle cable. I think it was just putting tension on the throttle and causing the connection to go bad. Yeah, I do not trust the track right now or the trace because the first time I've used it, and this is the first time it's ever worked for me. So I'm always checking to make sure that the drone's still following me. Yeah, I think it just lost me. This is another day, the following day. So I took it out because I had lost or forgot to record that other video going to the hill and everything. I wanted to make sure I actually did it this time. But yeah, the drone keeps on missing me or losing me on the trace just because I'm not sure if it's because I get washed out or there's a setting that I can adjust to allow the drone to go faster when it is following. I got to do some research on that, see if I can get the speed up. I did put it in sport mode, so it would go up to 18 meters a second, which is about 35, 36 miles an hour, and that should be plenty fast. That's actually faster than my cart will do. But for some reason when it's in follow mode, it only does about 20 miles an hour or so. And then if you go too fast, it drive behind a little bit of brush and everything, and it'll lose you. So now at this point, I'm going to have it follow me down the pathway and then up the hill. And it actually, because I'm only about, I don't know, 30 feet up, the hill goes up about 15, 20 feet, so I get pretty close to the drone. Yeah, it just loses me on the washout. That was interesting how the camera lifted up. Like, the camera was following me, but the drone wasn't. Kind of looks like I need to get a filter for the lens to help the washout. And these pathways are pretty rutted up from water running down them, so it's kind of hard driving up them. And I'm just getting closer and closer to the drone as I come up and up and up. I don't know why it lost me. And it was weird how it sat for a second and then took off after me again. It's still following me, but the drone's not following me. The camera is. This is me flying it manually. Maybe I need to up the gains or something like that on the drone. Maybe that'll do it. So here I wanted to get on the road and see how fast the drone would go. Trying to make wide sweeping turns so that the drone will follow me. And I lost it. That's interesting. I didn't even know that manhole cover was not on. So here I'm doing the trace, trying to see if I can, how fast I can get the drone going. Man, it's not following me at all. Here we go. And I'm just rolling on the throttle nice and smooth to accelerate slowly to see if I can get the drone to keep following me. And no. So then I put it into manual mode and just fly it straight. Flying over me. I just punch it. So I got the drone floored, go-kart floored, and the drone starts to overtake it. And then I was worried about the power lines too coming up. So here I'm doing a trace to see if I can get it to spin around. But it looks down and then it just locks up. Is that another manhole cover that's opened up? Sure looks like it. I think right here I'm just flying it manually. Oh no, it was on trace. And so now I take over it. for my landing, I just pull straight down. I was waiting for the ultrasonic sensor to take over, but it doesn't, and it just drives straight into the earth. So I wasn't sure why that was. Once I get the new inverter in and I'm able to test it out, I'll tell everybody all about it. I'm really excited about it. Roger has been awesome in working with me and getting this stuff going. He also ran the inverter with the HSG, and he said it could spin up to about 14,000 RPM with 50 amps of field weakening. I don't know if I'll need that much or need that many RPM, but it is awesome to be able to spin to 15,000 RPM, because if you spin the RPM, you can lower your gear ratio, get plenty of torque, and still get good speed. So I'm super excited.